Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday's Talking Town. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov, and we've got Adi Croucher in the room, who's been a member for 36 months. Adi, thank you ever so much for being a member. We appreciate you joining us on a Sunday. We've got lots to cover, and there's lots of comments coming in, and I absolutely love chats, shows, live shows that start with loads and loads of chats. So keep them coming in. Sam says PR has done more interviews than signings at the moment. Well, that's not too difficult, to be fair, Sam. You know, to leap to Mark Ashton's defence, that isn't too difficult. He hasn't signed anybody yet. No, he hasn't. So one interview, 0 signings. So I'll jump to his defence a little bit there. But yeah, get your comments in, get your thoughts in. And don't forget, we are partnered with the East Anglian Air Ambulance. If you want to help save lives and the chance to win £1,000 every week, of course you do. Who doesn't? Play the East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery by playing from just £1 each week. You're helping to get their yellow helicopters flying. The East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery creates 18 winners every week, with prizes ranging from £50 to £1,000. Don't know where my voice is going, but we'll stay with it. Over 18s only. T&Cs apply, but please, as I always say, whatever you do, gamble responsibly. Carl, welcome into the room. How you doing? We've got Adi, Colin, loads of you piling in. Tommy K, our resident Nottingham Forest fan, he's speaking about Leeds fans in the chat. They're telling him they're going to finish mid-table next season. Well, we all thought the same as well, but well, didn't quite get a plan, did it? Anyway, joining me in this endeavour is Mr. Matthew Phillips. Welcome in, Matt. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. People will notice that my background has changed. It's too hot in the kitchen extension, Gov. So I've gone old school. I'm giving people memories of League One, your Rochdales, your Morecambs. So yeah, that's my background today. So it's the only cool room in the house. And even
Absolutely.
that's not cool. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the broom cupboard, ladies and gentlemen. It is a broom cupboard in upgrade. You know, we are slowly getting there. But Sam's just reminded me actually that Mark Ashton has done TalkSport, EADT, and the Town website. But the Town website doesn't count, Sam. That's basically his own platform. That's like me doing this podcast and then being on 4 others. It's the same thing. So 3 interviews to no signings, Matt. But we have got what has been a huge talking point in our Discord recently. If you want to join our Discord, $4.99, cancel at any point, and you get all access to the Talking Town community discussing all things football. And they've been backwards and forwards all day today. It has been like a tennis match, Matt, you know, from one side to the other, about Axel Tuanzebe leaving the football club for Burnley on a free transfer. It's a shocker. We did offer him a contract. He didn't sign that contract. He joined Burnley, Premier League bound, and it's a role reversal from 12 months ago when we were stealing players from Burnley and being the Premier League side, and they were the Championship side. But what are your thoughts on Axel departing?
Well, as a Town fan, disappointing because I quite
Hugely.
liked him from the off, as you remember when he came through. You know, and he'd fallen on hard times a little bit because he'd left Manchester. He had loan spells at, I think, Aston Villa, the one night in Napoli, Manchester United. He leaves Manchester United because of. Are you pressing random buttons again?
No, I'm just
Sorry about this, everybody, if you're listening. We've gone very big on the screen. He leaves Man United because of injuries. Doesn't get a deal at Luton. Knows McKenna. Gets a deal at Town. Done pretty well for Ipswich, I think. And, you know, against Brighton and Hove Albion last season, you only got to see their manager said, didn't he, that he kept that Matoma quiet, world-class winger, kept him quiet for most of the game in one of our rare points that we got. So there's obviously quality there, but with that quality, unfortunately, on the other side of that comes your old favourite, the availability. I was just looking to see, like, since he broke through into first team football about a decade ago, it's going back to about 2015, he's only ever actually made 173 first team appearances.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a mathematician to work out that's below 20 appearances per year. I think he did something like, 40 appearances for Town, maybe across a couple of seasons. So again, you're only getting half measures of Axel. So for all the quality that he's got in abundance, the availability, your best abilities, your availabilities, you always like to say, right, and that's your little catchphrase on there. And you don't quite get that with him. But when he does play, he's superb. I wish him all the best at Burnley. As I've said before, me and Chris Hall got a mutual friend in Nick, who's a Burnley fan. Hope he does really well there. We will have to go out now and find someone who can play right back and can replace him.
This is it. Absolutely. Norman says a certain wise usual has said, I think he means me. I'll take it anyway. If I assume it's me and it's wrong, I'm going to be...
It is you. It is you. You could have that.
Best ability is availability. Axel was never available enough, which look, in his first season in the Championship, I can't remember Axel missing many, if any, games through injury. He may have been rotated in and out of the squad, as McKenna likes to do.
Yeah.
Too many instances where you're thinking, oh, we've signed Axel, injury concerns. Oh, he's injured. Premier League campaign last season, yeah, okay, he did miss some time, of course, for an injury that he couldn't foresee, and it is one of those rare situations. And other times, I think, was it hamstring? I think was it a groin? Something along those lines.
I mean,
last season.
That Championship season you're talking about, I've got down here on Transfermarkt. He's got down as 18 appearances. So again, that was under half. He came through at a certain. He wasn't there at the start of the season. I seem to recall. When did he come in? Perhaps people couldn't. Oh, it was sort of October, November time, wasn't it? I seem to remember. We've been training with us for a bit. I'm sure someone could tell us in the.
Oh, they'll be absolutely able to tell us. And if you want to come to the show, the information is just there along the ticker. Just type !link and the link will appear in the chat. But look, Matt, I always say best ability is availability, but in this instance, I'm going to go against my own sort of advice and say I absolutely love Axel. Whether he played enough for some people or whether he didn't play enough for some people, when he played, it was consistently quality. 1v1 defender. I don't think I've seen many better in a Town shirt. Now, obviously, I'm only 34, 35, so I can't speak for some of the really great sides that we've had over the years. Certainly from my time, thinking back, I'm struggling to think of many others I'd put alongside him. 1v1. The way he kept Matoma quiet, for example.
Yes.
Completely kept him quiet. The way we utilised him away at Tottenham with some help in front of him, but he kept Son very quiet. 1v1, incredible defender. Really good recovery. And also the ability that really brings to... This is where I'm really a little bit upset with it, because obviously our biggest strength as a football club, Matt, is Leif Davis's ability down the left. You only get Leif Davis's ability down the left because you've got Axel Tuanzebe's versatility on the right, where he can tuck himself in, form a back three as a centre half very comfortably. When we have possession, he can then go across the halfway line. Once again, unlike other right backs where they cross the halfway line and they get a bit of a nosebleed, Axel never had that. He was so versatile in either position. It's going to be a big miss for us. It's going to be a big, huge, Axel-sized hole until we fill it. And I don't know how we fill it in terms of how much that's going to cost you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, you don't know what's around the corner, do you? No one could foresee Axel Tuanzebe signing for us in the first place. A forgotten name out of Old Trafford and being so good. And the fact he has been so good is why he's going to Burnley and staying in the Premier League. And I don't really understand anyone who would criticise him for being out of contract at Town and taking an offer to go to the Premier League. Have you never left a job in your life before to go and work somewhere new? It's no different, is it? All we ask for is that people give 100% commitment whilst they're wearing the blue shirt. And I feel like Axel did that for us. Let us down a couple of times, I suppose. The Aston Villa sending off, really. Although we got to point out that in the end, didn't we?
But that was never a red card, though, was it? It was never two yellow card offences.
Yes, it was 2 yellows, wasn't it? The first one was very harsh, wasn't it? But yeah, that aside, I wouldn't begrudge. I don't begrudge him leaving. I don't really begrudge Cameron Burgess leaving either. I mean, as we always say on this show, people don't seem to listen. They will do what's best for their career. And we can only ask them they do their best whilst they're contracted to Ipswich. And Tuanzebe and Burgess have been given better offers, and they're going to go off and do their best. We must now replace them. But there's all, you never know what's around the corner. McKenna has been good in his recruitment in his previous championship reign when we were last down there, and brought him in. Hopefully, we can bring someone in of a similar ilk. Hopefully, we bring someone in who is robust in defence, can play centre half, right back, but is maybe not so injury prone. That'd be good. Maybe that's too much of a wish list. I don't know.
But as I said before, as I led into the question to set you up there, how much is that going to cost, the football club? Because that is versatility, and that is something that's going to cost a little bit of money. The player that can do both positions. Do we look to adapt a little bit? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how the club goes forward. Because for me, Ben Johnson's a right wing back, more of a right wing back than perhaps a right back, right centre half. And Harry Clark, maybe, but he's not quite Axel Tuanzebe.
No, the jury's out with Harry for me. Did he set the world alight at Sheffield United? He got injured there, didn't he? And he didn't feature in there in the playoffs, did they? I mean, certainly Harry's done all right for us at right back. I just sometimes wonder whether or not there's something maybe. I mean, I always like Darnell Furlong at West Bromwich Albion, the guy with the long throw, Premier League experience. I mean, he's getting on a little bit now. What is he, 31, 32? But someone of that kind of ilk may be someone who could fit in there. I mean, look, maybe we just look at a right side. We just want a right back, actually, because you've got O'Shea, you've got Wolfenden to fill in the right-sided of the centre-backs, if we do with the four. Obviously, if he goes to a free, there's a bit of a change there. And Axel gave you that, didn't he, if you wanted to change formations. But maybe we look at just an out-and-out right-back, which is what Harry Clark is. Right? And
absolutely.
And Johnson being this morphed into this kind of right wing-back now, isn't he?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed watching Ben Johnson towards the back end of last season. I thought as the season went on, he improved, and I'm looking forward to see if he, of course, stays, which is the big question mark on the whole squad. If he stays, then I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the championship campaign. Lots of people in the live chat are agreeing with you in terms of Axel and the better offer. And I mean, out of the two, Cam, you can see why both have left the football club. For me, Cam Burgess has gone to Swansea, same division as us now, but it's a World Cup year. He needs that guaranteed playing time. He needs to be starting games to be going to the World Cup next summer. Axel's gone to the Premier League. Every player wants to play in the Premier League, and if there's an offer there and it's the same or more, you're going to go. Or even if it's less, arguably, you could say it's the Premier League. That's where I want to play my trade for a year.
Yeah, you're totally spot on with Burgess being a World Cup year. I mean, Cameron Burgess, if you rewind back, I don't know, back to when he was playing for Scunthorpe. I remember he'd done over 100 appearances for Scunthorpe. If you said to him, you'd have played in the Premier League, you could have a great opportunity to go into the World Cup in 5, 6, 7 years. He'd have thought you'd been drinking so much. So, I mean, he's going to take the opportunities that he can and good luck to him. He needs to be playing regularly. And there's people in our Discord, myself included, a little bit, who thinks maybe he should have been playing more for Town. And this is someone who didn't think, who saw who saw Burgess as just being this journeyman defender. And he has improved massively under Kieran McKenna. And now he's got an opportunity to probably be the number one left-sided centre-back at Swansea in the season that's coming towards us and go to the World Cup. So off he goes. Fair play to him. He'd be utility player at Town. Because Greaves is ahead of him. McKenna has gone on record to say he has the higher ceiling. And they paid a shed load of money for him as well.
He says, absolutely, football's their job, and any of us will take the best offer. The worry for me is we've lost two players because they got better offers. Leaf thrived on Burge feeding him at the line. Hope Jacob Greaves can do the same. Ben Johnson will be our right back next season, says Sharon. Thanks for the comment, Sharon. I'd be interested to see what happens with Ben Johnson. Colin Plum says, BT 1v1, best strength, pace, absolutely everything, Gov. Sadly, a little bit before my time, so I'm going to take your word for it. Also a player, as Colin will remember, that should have played more times for Ipswich and England. I mean, Bobby Robson said he could play 100 times for England. What was it, 9 appearances? So someone else who was blighted by injuries. And of course, he's moved, and Axel's gone, back up north, which could have also featured into the equation.
Living in the northwest and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Who knows what his personal situation is? Might have been commuting down, still retained a house there. See, that gets taken into account as well. Maybe his family still is living there. Who knows? But look, Ipswich now have to move on. McKenna will have a list of who he wants and who he thinks can feature in that position. But maybe it's an opportunity for a Johnson, Clark, or someone fresh that we don't even know about to come into the team. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, if you want to carry that conversation on, head to our Discord. How you do so is in the membership tab. Perks. So moving it on. You say we're going to move on. Well, we have got to move on because Omari Hutchinson's shining last night in England's win.
Yeah.
Shining
really
the whole tournament. Looking really good. 6 clubs are linked in the last week. Are we going to be able to keep hold of Omari Hutchinson in this transfer window, Matt? Give me some good news after we discuss 2 departures. Give it to me. Come on.
I can't give you the good news of that because I think he'll go. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? He's just been on terrestrial telly, England under 21s, featuring all throughout the tournament on Channel 4. So you got that terrestrial audience there. So even if people weren't paying too much attention to Ipswich Town last season because we were down the bottom of the table or whatever, they now know who Omari Hutchinson is. He's not a secret to anybody in football, having come through Arsenal, Chelsea, Ipswich, had that great loan period with us. And again, I see he's getting linked with clubs in Germany now, Borussia Dortmund being one, where Bellingham's brother's just gone. They seem to like English youngsters over there to develop them and then sell them on at great profits. Jude Bellingham being another one. Sorry, everyone, I would expect Omari Hutchinson to go. And I think Ipswich will get a good fee. But, it's not all bad news, right? We sold Kieran Dyer that season. We didn't go up to Newcastle for 6-7 million, whatever it was. And the following season, we get promoted and we're in the Premier League again. So it's, we're going to get a lot of money from the Delap deal, probably from the Hutchinson deal, to recycle back into the squad. And that's before you've even touched parachute payments. And look, no one knew Omari Hutchinson was a couple of years ago. We saw him in that game against Luton at Colchester. We all thought he looked a bit raw. We didn't envisage the season he was about to have. There'll be another name somewhere that we're not aware of that can come in, do exactly the same job again. So don't be too downbeat. Again, if Omari goes, just wish him all the best. He's done great for us.
You say don't be too downbeat, but I can hear Mike D in his trunks tonight on holiday crying, because obviously he's a big fan of Omari, as am I a big fan of Omari. And I think you've got to expect the worst and hope for the best in this situation. Expect him to be departing the football club, but hope that he doesn't. And the transfer fee will also intrigue me. I've long held the belief I don't think he'll go for 35 million, which is what the reported relegation release clause in. We've often had this debate, me and you, and the Discord as well. And I still hesitate on that transfer fee. Maybe an initial 25, 27 rise in. I still hesitate. I might be wrong.
Do we know, Gub, even if he's got a relegation?
No, of course we don't.
We don't even. It's just all hearsay, isn't it, at the moment? We really don't know. But every club is a selling club if the fee's right, as I've said before. Man United sold Ronaldo to Real Madrid. You get a decent wedge for him, he'll go. And that's probably the best thing for his career, really. You've just shone in a tournament where you're off the back of a Premier League campaign for Ipswich Town. He will want to stay in the Premier League. Let's not kid ourselves. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? What's the next step for him? To move on from Carsley in the 21s to Tuchel in the senior squad.
Agreed.
And he's only going to do that if he's playing in the Premier League. And we saw the mindset that the England hierarchy have got with Delap. Didn't feature anywhere close in that first half of the season to get into an England squad. And as Tuchel said, he would need to move on to another club in order to feature in a World Cup year. Surprise. Omari behind that as well. And Delap's had to go to Chelsea to suddenly be in that conversation. So I think it's probably not if, but when with Omari. And, let's wish him well. But again, that brings an opportunity for somebody else to come into the frame.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob says the full European viewing audience have just watched Omari thrive in the tournament. He'll have more offers after the final. Omari being sold would hurt. And don't forget his exclamation point link for the link to join the show. I see Colin's just done it in the chat, so I'm sure Colin will be joining us very shortly. While Colin gets himself sorted out and clicks that link, and anybody else is more than welcome to. Let's move it on to Mark Ashton. As Sam said at the top of the show, done more interviews than signings. But yeah, as you just alluded to there with do we know this? Do we know that? Not really said much in these interviews or given much away. Not really peeked behind the curtain, etc. Latest one was a Talk Sport, Jim White and Simon Jordan. What are your thoughts on that interview? I thought personally, Matt, I thought it was more of a sleeves up, driven, focused, determined Mark Ashton more than the PR, catchy buzzwords.
Well, we didn't get any of that, did we?
No,
no oxygen. None of the other, what was it? I don't know. What were the other ones? There was none of that, was there?
He's got loads. He's got loads. There was none of it. I thought it was more of a, roll the sleeves up, driven. We're getting to work. This is what we're doing. What did you take out of the Ashton interview?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And I like the Jim White and Simon Jordan show anyway. Just the debate they have during the week. So it was good to see Ipswich featuring on that. And we know Simon Jordan is a big fan of Ipswich and McKenna. And when there was all the buzz around McKenna going to Brighton or Chelsea, wherever it was last season, he was adamant that he should stay at Ipswich to progress at a club that really, really valued him. And of course, that happened, and it didn't backfire on us particularly, but we didn't hit the heights that we all wanted to, as you said at the start of the show. I think Ashton was probably in that kind of mindset, really. What can we do at this club in order to, now we're back in the Championship, to have another go at the Premier League in 12 months. And of course, he pinpointed the recruitment, which we've all been talking about, be it in the comments here or guests on the show through Talking Town all through the season. And that physicality, he did say, was a missing element from our campaign. And we saw that, didn't we? And I think maybe they only knew that once you actually start playing the games and seeing, over the season how that kind of physicality pans out. And then you pepper that with a bit more of international experience. I mean, even Wolves, what was that Wolves midfield we played against? Cunha and one other was the midfield for Brazil against Argentina in that international break. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And we got a team that come up from League One, right? So yeah, I think that he saw that really as that kind of learning experience. and that will stand them in good stead as we look to kind of bounce back, I guess. I thought Ashton come across much better in that. Because he didn't come across as this kind of David Brent figure that we kind of tongue in cheek say that he does sometimes, because then you lose the impact of what he's saying because you're laughing at the buzzwords.
Yeah, I kept waiting for him. It was like buzzword bingo. I was sitting there going, "Yeah, here you go, it's coming up, up," and he didn't deliver it. And I thought it was a really determined, driven, focused.
Yeah, it was good.
The only thing he hadn't literally done was literally roll his own sleeves up. If he rolled his sleeves up, you could have literally said it was a roll your sleeves up sort of interview. Simon Jordan can sometimes take a long time to get to a question. I did notice that.
Oh, he does a bit. Yeah, he likes the sound of his own voice, Simon, which is why he's on the show, right? But he, I thought Mark Ashton come across very well, and that's what we want. Really.
Agreed.
That's what we want. And while people are kind of frustrated that we've had no signings yet, well, I don't think we've had any signings yet because I still think there's been a question mark over McKenna. Now Brentford have got Keith Andrews. There was still a question mark there of whether or not he might go. Now we might start seeing some movement, and of course we're getting, tomorrow's June the 30th, and contracts start coming to a close, and people are out of contract, and there's free transfers there. You might start seeing some. Well, you will see some movement in July because the season starts in August. So you're going to see something in the next 4 weeks, certainly.
Yeah, Stephen Parry in our Discord thinks 6 or 7 over the next couple of weeks. That's 1 a week. That'll keep me busy. Yeah. I like that. Good work, Steve, in the Discord. But I did take away obviously the recruitment strategy, slight alteration from him in the interview. Obviously, more physical players, and I totally agreed with him in regards to the physical players. And it sounds really simple. You've got to buy players that are going to be good enough for the Premier League. But I think as a club being promoted, you are starting further back technically than every other Premier League team that's in there. So are you going to match them technically in season 1? Probably not. But where you can match them is physicality. So I agreed with his approach of we need to get more physical, because that midfield last year, we've all highlighted it. It's in every single Town fan, or most Town fans needs to buy this summer. It's 1-2 midfield players. Why? Because physically we weren't good enough. Physically we were too dominated at times, and it just wasn't good enough. Pure and in terms of physicality, in terms of being able to get around the pitch and things like that. So that was good. And it sounds really simple as I say, oh, you got to buy players that are good enough for the Premier League, but Kieran can coach those. So I completely agreed with what he said there, which was rare. They met in Ashton's front room, looked each other in the eye moment, which I did cringe at a little bit. I was like, Oh
yeah, he's never going to shed that image completely, is he? You're going to get little bits, but it was better than the oxygen thing.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. A says, I'm no doubt if KM gets the right offer from a Premier League team, he will go. This is it. Obviously, Keith Andrews now installed at Brentford. As I said on the show after the fixture release show, I like Brentford going that route. That's bold, really bold, really.
Yeah, it is bold.
Bold is a word I can use for it.
Yeah, that's a dice roll. I'm not certain that story's over yet. I mean, I wish Keith Andrews all the best. I like Brentford. I know Mike D likes to call him a bus stop in Hounslow, doesn't he? But
I like both Keith and Brentford.
Keith Andrews was a really good loan spell for us, wasn't it? He got double figure in goals, didn't he? Do you remember from midfield?
Do you know what he is as well, Matt? Do you know what he is as well? An excellent set piece coach.
Exactly. Now, Martin O'Neill on TalkSport said that Keith Andrews wasn't that interested in set pieces when he was Republic of Ireland manager. But so he's gone full circle as well. But I think it's going to be it's a real heavy dice roll, that. And it might come to bite him on the backside, which is why I think it might not be over yet for McKenna being linked to that job. Because if you look at all the managers, like it's been easy for Arteta, like someone like Arteta, Maresca, with very minimal managerial experience, in Arteta's case, none, to go into Arsenal with elite players and keep that momentum going from the Wenger years, etc., etc. And who was it before then? I can't remember. Emery, wasn't it? Unai Emery. It's a much more difficult job for someone like Keith Andrews to go in without any managerial experience, with a star, a staff of players like he's got at Brentford, and meet fan expectations. I think it's going to be really difficult when you see the likes of McKenna, Russell Martin, Steve Cooper, Ruud van Nistelrooy, all much more experienced managers than what Keith Andrews is, and couldn't break out of that bottom three. So it's going to be very difficult. And I think if it doesn't work out for Keith Andrews, and I hope it does for him, for his sake and ours, because I think he'll come knocking at our door again if Ipswich are competing in the top 3-4 of the Championship, because McKenna's stock will be renewed again, right?
Yeah,
he's knocking on the door of a promotion push. So it worries me that. Yeah, it worries me.
And it will worry you until the inevitable happens, which is Kieran McKenna leaving for whatever reason. That will worry you, because if he's doing really well and a club in the league above isn't, and that's whether that's Keith Andrews at Brentford or somebody else,
Doesn't take much, does it, mate?
We know about the Crystal Palace situation, don't we?
Palace get off badly. Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford. There's 4 clubs who just named right there. Could all come knocking. Burnley, exactly. Could all come. Leeds. No, it was named after the Premier League now. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, look.
It's very easy to do, isn't it? It's very easy to do. So I think you will naturally be a little bit insecure every time the dice is rolling in the league above until the inevitable happens. But right now he's a town manager. That's the most important thing.
I still can't think of anyone who would give me great confidence in taking over. I mean, I know people like Danny Roll, and we've debated this before. I like Danny Roll as well. And I know you really like him. But he seems letting a lot of goals.
Well, so do I. So fitting well.
Well, maybe. But if you're talking about a team that's going to go back into the Premier League, what's the Achilles heel? Letting in lots of goals.
Agreed.
I mean, at least if we do get back into the Premier under McKenna, at least he's already had sight of that league in terms of what they're talking about recruitment-wise in the physicality, and to shore up the defence. I mean, much easier said than done, isn't it? As we found out.
Well, that's where physicality might come into it, and interesting to see. We'll see how that, reflects going forward across the summer. He obviously spoke about a little bit about, retaining the group. And I was sort of reading that into obviously be players like Omari, Hutchinson, and then add into that. I think we'll be, as we always have been under Mark Ashton. That's his full. This is me giving full credit to him. Really aggressive in the window, really, really shrewd in the window. There's not been many missteps. From
exactly.
Ashton, so.
I mean, we was all happy as Larry, weren't we, when he was spending 100 million plus.
You can do that again if you like.
Yeah, exactly. 100 million plus and bringing in kind of these leading lights from the Championship. It's only when Harry Hindsight, the world's best footballing pundit, rocks up at the end of the season and goes, "Oh, that wasn't very good, was it?" And we can be guilty of that ourselves. Yeah. But at the time, he was doing a great. We've got to give Mark Ashton credit. They've done a fantastic job, be it training ground, getting the club into the Premier League, the recruitment of McKenna, buying players we was really excited about. We weren't that great in the Premier League last season. It was a letdown. We weren't that competitive in a lot of games, really. So it's all there for them to rebuild again. It's all there for everyone to rebuild again. And we've said before, he's still one of the best signings we've got, as cheesy as he can be. I think accidentally as well. He's still one of the best signings we've had in recent years when you compare it to the Marcus Evans era.
No, that's not hard, is it?
Well, not difficult. But as you've said before, built the rocket ship. It's mid-flight still.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, somebody who's listened to us and wants to get involved in the show has asked for the link and got it. Is Colin. Welcome in, Colin. What are your thoughts this afternoon?
All right, Colin.
Oh, you're on mute, Colin. Let's just try that again.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, my friend. While you're doing that, I've got some comments.
Come back in.
Mike says, Town didn't really defend from the front. The midfield was seriously lacking legs. That's never going to help the defence. Colin, while he sorts himself out, let's move it on to the fixture list. We obviously did a show on Thursday. We tried some new software out. We're not trying that tonight. We are working on it. Lots of feedback.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Feedback. Hopefully so. I then posted a comment, Matt, on our YouTube community page in regards to the first 5 games. And we've got some comments. Rock says a mid-table finish after a poor start. Truth Hunter with the current team mid-table.
I don't get that.
There wasn't a lot of confidence.
It's pessimism for pessimism's sake, I think. Look, just look at Sheffield United. 100 plus goals they conceded. They finished the season on 92 minus 2, 90. Because of the penalty they got. They were absolutely dreadful in the Premier League. The Championship is not a difficult division quality-wise. What's difficult about it is the schedule, the 46 games, the relentless nature of keep playing, as Mark Ashton said himself.
Hello, Mark. Is that you?
Yeah, the relentless nature of it. That's the management of it. If Ipswich ain't top 3, top 4 in next season, I'll be absolutely amazed.
Well, this is it. So the question was, as things stand, where do you think Ipswich will finish this season? 53% of our audience, of people who looked at it and responded, said first to second. 37% said third to sixth. 3% said 13th, which or lower, which I Don't
Based on
understand.
what though? What's that based on?
7% said 7th to 12th, aka Matt's Wilderness. So
I did see that in there actually. I did
Yeah.
vote. I did vote for champions or whatever it was. I mean, I've said on the show,
Absolutely.
I'm expecting us to be champions. I really do. I really do. I think we're in a much better space than Leicester, who are now managerless, and Southampton. Again, bringing someone in who's not managed in this country before and will still. I think I'm right in saying that.
But and while Colin sorts himself out, I guess it comes down to basically what we had a question from our Discord. Matt Oozle asks, how many players do you expect to be leaving? And that's really where the question now comes down to, isn't it? Because early doors, you're looking at the fixture list, you can do your first 5, as I did on the show, on a YouTube video. So 11 points from the first 5. Obviously, a lot to change across the summer, and that's the worry. How many do you expect to be leaving this summer, Matt?
Hard to say, isn't it, at the moment, really? I mean, well, Delap's gone. I'm expecting Omari to go. We've lost Burgess and Twanzebe, so there's 4, right? 4, am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not expecting wholesale changes. I mean, look, players are under contract. Just because someone comes in with a bid for them doesn't mean they're going to be going. I mean, the only anomaly to that is that we don't know who's got relegation clauses, as we said outside the stadium after West Ham mine. We don't know who's got relegation clauses. If they can be triggered by clubs that see value in the players, then they will go back into the Premier League.
Absolutely.
But, I'm expecting someone like, even though I've been critical about him in his body language, and that Philogene, who's recovering from injury, should have been part of that squad gutted for him last night. If Omari goes and Philogene gets back into fitness for August, September, I'm expecting him to be having a pivotal season for us at a level below probably his skill level, really, in the Championship. That's what I'm thinking. But it's impossible to say at the moment. But we've lost 4 already. We've lost 3 already, and maybe Omari on the horizon. So that's 4 pivotal players that will need replacing. I mean, certainly who's going to be scoring the goals next season is the big question, right? Because your man's gone already. And I'm not putting all the eggs in the George Hurst basket just yet.
Well, no, neither am I. And I've said that before on the show. I'd still be going for that number 1 striker to replace Delap. I look at it and I agree with you. You might lose a few others, but now all eyes are on Omari, really. That's the only one that you're really looking at from your current 11.
Yeah,
obviously, Jade Philogene's been injured when he came in. We didn't necessarily see the best of him. So whether he goes or not remains to be seen. And we don't quite understand or know what his loss would be like to the football club, because we've not quite seen the best of him in a Town shirt. Whereas Omari, we're all sitting here and we're all literally, looking forward to watching Omari go to Town on the Championship and be this amazing player we all know him to be.
He's given you moments in the Championship and in the Premier League, like the goal against Manchester United. Now, I have knocked Philogene, but if he scores the brace at Old Trafford, imagine if we'd won that game. It'd been like a bit of folklore now. The Philogene brace that got Ipswich 3 points at Old Trafford, right? He'd have that moment already. But
you still can't tell me what sort of player we've got, because we've not seen enough of him to say for sure, what he brings to the squad. So if he was to leave tomorrow, you wouldn't know really what you've lost, because you've not seen it in the Town shirt. You can watch as many clips as you want. Believe me, players like Aaron Drinan look amazing on highlight reels. It don't mean they're going to be great. But do you know what I mean? You don't know what you've lost. Whereas Omari, you know what you're losing. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't see too many.
Because you're emotionally invested in them, aren't you? They've been part of the journey and all that. It cuts a little bit deeper, doesn't it? But I'm always of opinion. Just look at Delap. No one knew he would come in, hit the ground running, do so well. I'm of the opinion that Ipswich will probably sign someone like that, who will be our leading striker in 25-26. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, completely agree. Let's give Colin another go. Colin, welcome in. What's your points this afternoon?
Hi, Gov, how are you? Can you hear me?
Excellent.
Yes,
we can hear you, my man. What's on your mind, Town-wise? What's going on?
Well, first of all, can I just say thank you for everybody who's asked how I was, because I've had an awful summer. I had a really bad fall, of which I smashed my face quite badly, and also I've suffered with this really bad vertigo, which has been awful. And I've still got it a little bit, but it's slowly but surely clearing up, thank God. But I felt really awful this last 7 or 8 weeks. So anyway, thanks for everybody who said, get well. Anyway, lovely to speak to you both. On the Omari thing, I'd just like to put it to you both. I think me and Matt text Matt quite often, I think it's a bit, in my opinion, Gavin, Matt, I think it's a bit of a win-win. I know somebody put in the chat 35 million is peanuts, and in today's market it is. But if it is, and we don't know if it is or not, but if it is in the contract, 35 million, that's what we have to go with. It's still a lot of money to a club like Ipswich Town. And the reason I say it's win-win is because, like you say, Gov, and like I say, like Matt would say, if he stayed, and that's a big if, I think, now, after this last fortnight, if he stays, I personally think if he's injury-free, he rips the championship up. A Sinistera, if you like. If he goes, and like you both quite, and I'm not agreeing for agreement's sake, for goodness sake, if he goes, £35 million buys you 2 or 3, let's say 3 very good, very, very good players at championship level. And I totally agree with you. Ian texted me last night, exactly the same thing. You know, us people who know the game or know what we're talking about, get it spot on like you two have. Ian texted last night. We need somebody up top. We certainly need 2 central midfield players and possibly a defender. I mean, but if you know, we're forgetting the fact we sold Liam. And good luck to the boy, and I'll say good luck to Omari if he goes. But if Omari does go, you know, you ain't got to have a degree in maths. But I mean, 30 million, 35 million, 65 million, coming down with about 50. It's about 115 million. That's getting up towards nearly what we went up with, for goodness sake. So, you know, but I'm slightly disappointed. I mean, I know I put patience as a virtue, but it is patience as a virtue. I do honestly think that Mark and Kieran will get this right. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, Rob says if Omari leaves, could he please wait until after we've played Birmingham and Southampton and help us get 6 points first?
That's a great. Can I just Gav, to interrupt you? That's a great point, because if you remember, I think it was Sinisterius, or was that his name, who went to Bournemouth?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he came down to Portman Road and ripped us up. Do you remember? Before he left.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. I get a little bit excited. It's a great point, because what the person has just said, because Birmingham, Southampton, Preston North End and Derby, they're the 4 before September the 1st. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Omari, if you're listening, if you want to go, and you have to go after August the 30th. Get us 12 points before you go. It's kind of what happened at Leeds, Gov. Kind of.
Yeah, they when we played Leeds at home, the year we got promoted, there was lots of conversation about players. I think one was on the bench, one left shortly afterwards. There was lots, wasn't there, Matt, of conversation about players wanting to leave.
They brought that Joel Perot in, hadn't they, from Swansea, who scores in that game. And as Colin rightly says, Sinistera scores in that game. And then leaves for Bournemouth. That Willie Nonso had not been playing for them. There had been some kind of thing going on. He scores in that game. That was our only home defeat all season, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin, we appreciate you coming on. You got to stay healthy, all right? We need you for a big season.
Can I just say one last thing?
Of course you can. Go for it.
Liam Mannon. I'd just like to speak about Liam Mannon. He would have been, and I really don't care what anybody else thinks, if Kieran, and I never thought he was going to leave, that's a God's honest truth, if Kieran had departed Portman Road, I'd be one. He would have been the person I would have liked, him or Rob Edwards, to be an Ipswich manager. I think he's a Kieran McKenna kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wish him a great well, but I wish him well, because any Norwich fans who watch this, I will say this. In fact, I have been on TNC and actually typed this. I wish Liam well. I do. I wish him well to an extent. He's had an awful year. He really, really has. I wish him well, apart from the 2 local derbies. I think they'll finish about 8th, but I do wish him well. And I think he's a really, really nice guy. And yeah, but I do. If Liam is watching this, I think he'll finish 8th or 9th, and I think he'll lose both games against us. But there you go. That's life.
Excellent. Colin, appreciate you. Stay well, all right? Look after yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Best. And don't forget, as we turn the corner towards the home straight of the show, we are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths. Give Freddie a call. He is the governor. They are 01449613633. That's Stowmarket Osteopaths. Don't live life in pain. Give Freddie a call. 01449613633. So, Matt, fixture list released, announced. We did a little broadcast with the new software. Got lots of good feedback. I say good feedback. Lots of feedback. Some of it was hard to take, but we got feedback. That's the most important thing. I want to look at the fixtures a little bit now as we sort of turn the corner and bring the show home. Any other fixtures sort of stand out since you've had time to digest it? I've looked at the fixtures myself in April. If you're looking for, the home straight, if you're looking for points to get on the board to clinch promotion, that does look kind of tasty. In April, you've got Saints away, Birmingham home. What team will Birmingham be at that point in the season? Who knows? Norwich away. What team will Norwich be? As Colin was just telling us there, at that point away. Middlesbrough, Rob Edwards now in charge. What team will they be? Charlton and, of course, West Brom, who are notoriously for us hard to play against.
Yeah.
Tough little month, that one is April. Obviously, you've got to get to that point. But when you're looking at the fixture list and you're thinking key moments, first 5, first 10, last 5, last 10. What about you, though? Anything else sort of jump out for you?
Well, I noticed Birmingham have announced the game against us in the home end. Certainly is now sold out.
They're only there to see the Ipswich. There to see the Ipswich.
I mean, that's going to be a cracker, that, I think. It's going to kick off the season, the Friday night under lights at St Andrews. And, let's welcome it with relish. You've got 111 points, the most points total ever in a Football League season. Bring it on. Yeah. I want to see what they bring to the table, because I think Ipswich should be in a good position by the time that rocks around, and we'll have new signings in that will give motivation and confidence to the fan base. McKenna will still be at the club. Touch wood. It's going to be a really exciting game, that, and it will be a good measuring stick for us to see where we are. And then, of course, Southampton the following week. So those 2 games really stick out. I know we said in the fixture show, didn't we? April is always so difficult. Just the run of those little games there. What's the 3 again? Norwich are in the middle there somewhere, aren't they?
Yeah. So you got Saints away, Birmingham home, Norwich away, Borough at home, Charlton away, West Brom away. So 3 away games, 2 home games in April.
Yeah.
Before you finish your QPR.
If we can win, if we end up winning the title on the back of those 5 fixtures, then it'll be well earned.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
But you've got to get there first. That first 5 games is. Do you not think, Matt? Sorry to cut across you. That this year, maybe because we're coming down to it, and as opposed to being used to it, a lot of unknowns in the Championship this year. You've got your Wrexhams, who Mark Ashton was asked about, and on TalkSport. You've got Birmingham. What side will they be? How will they recruit? You've got us. You've got the Saints under new management. A lot of what team, what sort of side will this be? Norwich with Manning, Edwards at Borough. Lots and lots of just variables at this point in time. You can't put your finger on to say what you think that side's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be, and the lack of parachute clubs other than the 3 that are coming down in the mix with Luton.
Sheffield United, new manager as well, Ruben Sellers. Yeah,
Sheffield United. So they're still hanging around. Look, you don't have to be great in the Championship to get promoted. Sunderland have just proven that. They didn't get to 70 points, I don't think.
No,
got promoted. Do you know what I mean? Because as you always rightly say, suddenly the league form goes out the window, and you're in a knockout competition, of which Sunderland managed to navigate that really well. I mean, look, Sheffield United shot themselves in the foot. They should have been 2, 3, 4 up, I think, against Sunderland in that game. But there you go. It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, Ipswich coming down with, a disappointing Premier League campaign. We do need to make Portman Road a fortress again, because it was in the 2 Football League campaigns under McKenna.
Agreed.
It's about as far away as that as you can get in the Premier League last season. So Ipswich need to get back into the mentality of winning games. We've not done that for the last 12 months. So, but you're playing against lesser opposition. As good as Birmingham are, coming up from League One with the record points total, then it's still not like playing a Fulham, a Villa, a Brighton at Portman Road. They're not that level. So they come up, we're coming down, and as you rightly say, last time we went into the Championship, we were a team coming up from League One. We're now a Premier League team with Championship status, and that puts us in a great strength, as Colin rightly said there, financially as well. We've got the same money coming in with the outgoings as we had when we were going into the Premier League and the parachute payments combined.
Absolutely.
So we're in a great position to spend well in the window, I think.
Sorry, Matt. Craig Winchester, 9 or 2 managers is crazy, which I think is what it's got. Town, 86 points, win the playoffs, says Rax Max. Harp says Birmingham relying on Stansfield, look terrible under 21s. Can't see nothing other than a 3-0 win, even if we don't sign anyone. Harps has already gone early with a big, bold prediction. Harps, we love it. And thank you for being a member. If you like what we do here and you want to support the platform, scan the QR code or hit the YouTube memberships, $4.99. You can cancel at any point. If you do like what we do, if you do want to support the platform, and you get access to new perks that are coming, and of course the Discord, which also is going to be brand new in a couple of days. I'm nearly finished with it. Been testing it, road testing it out. Matt. It's
still going on. New software, new Discord.
I'm
like,
I need
when are we going to get the new strips for town? When are we going to see them with the new sponsor? That's the next thing, isn't it?
That is the next more important thing, people will argue, than the new Discord is probably the new shirt. But we'll see. No news on that yet. But we're done for the day. 46 minutes of Talking Town action. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, like and subscribe. Do join at Talking Town, and I'll try and post every day if news has happened or thoughts or feelings. So do subscribe and never miss a moment. But until then, this man here has been the media mogul, Matthew Phillips. Oh, very quickly, before we go, in 2 or 3 minutes, you mentioned, the start of the season. How you approach the start of the season is also massively important. Charlton friendly announced.
Do we have to leave the show on downbeat?
We don't have to leave it. No, we can just leave now. But I just wanted to say, playing teams in your own division, is it a bit like half and half scars? Should it get in the bin?
Yeah, pre-seasons should be for I don't know, for an opposition coming over. Do you know what I mean? I really like the games they've announced already. Aberdeen at Portaudre. I'd love to go to that, but logistically I can't. Auxerre in France. Fantastic. I thought we were only going to be playing teams beginning with A. And then they've skipped over B. Skipped B. Could have been a Brentford, Bournemouth, or whoever. We've gone straight to Charlton. That's a disappointing game for me. I think the fans deserve something a bit better than that. I know it's going to be at Colchester. But let's finish on the positive. We're now so big, the Pride of Anglia. Portman Road can't contain us. We have to have 2 stadiums. One for the first team, and then one for the women's team and the 21s. And then we'll just do our pre-season friendlies at Colchester as well. We're that big, everybody. If you're a Norwich fan tuning in, we're that big, the Pride of Anglia. I know you're looking through the fence at us. We're that big. We need 2 stadiums now. So I think that's great news, by the way, for the women to play at Colchester. And they're going to get the pitch put in. I know they had issues there last season with Cowley ball playing on that surface, but they'll bring that over from the training ground or whatever. It's great. Much easier for Ipswich fans to, certainly North Essex like myself, to get to Colchester rather than get to Felixstowe. 21.
That's all he cares about, ladies and gentlemen. Just how easy.
Yeah, it's the commute. Just the commute to get there.
But you know how lazy he is. He don't like leaving his postcode.
So Essex. I don't even have to leave Essex now to watch Ipswich, do I? But yeah, I'm disappointed that Charlton one. I'd like to, we play them again in October. There must have been someone who might have been available.
Not for me.
Any clubs beginning with C we could have got Celtic V going. Celtic. When we played Rangers at Portman Road.
You could have got anybody in. You could have got Bromley in. You're playing in the cup, but you could have got Bromley. You could have got anybody. I just don't like playing teams in your own league.
Como from Italy. There's another team. Yeah. It's not great that, but who knows why they had to organise that one? But it might be logistical admin. I don't know.
Who knows?
People already sold in on friendlies already. I don't know.
We'll end the show on Rax Max's wonderful joke, and I'm not at all self-conscious about being in a broom cupboard as it is Rax Max, but he says, "Gov, looks like you're in a cheese grater." Well, Rax, that would explain why I'm looking so sharp today. That's all I've got for you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again when the shirts release. Any transfer news, anything at all. Hit subscribe in miss a minute. We're Talking Town for fans, by fans. Catch you later. God bless. You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover.
crazy from just the thought of you.